Today we're making spicy chicken and rice. The chicken's juicy, full of flavour, the rice is gorgeous, it's super soft and fluffy, and we've cooked the rice in the chicken juices as well for that little bit of extra flavour. And we've also got a little bit of tzatziki. It's nutritious, packed with protein, and it's delicious. Let's jump straight in. We'll start with the chicken and the seasoning first. What I have here is 1 kilo or 2.2 pounds of boneless and skinless chicken breast. All we're doing with this is slicing them into strips, about 2 to 3 centimeters or 1 inch to 1.5 inches. Be as consistent as possible with it as well, because if they're uneven, it's going to cook at a different rate. Once you have them sliced, just rotate it 90 degrees and then do the same thing, cutting it into these nice diced cubes, again, being as consistent as possible. And what you'll have is something that looks like this. Add the chicken to a bowl, and then to season it, we're using 1.5 teaspoons each of onion and garlic powder, 1.5 teaspoons of smoked paprika, 1.5 teaspoons of ground cumin, 3/4 teaspoon of your favorite chili powder, 1 tablespoon of olive oil, season to taste with some salt, as well as some cracked black pepper, 15 cracks worth. Use clean hands, give it all a good mixy mix, make sure everything's covered in all of that seasoning, and that right there is our chicken and seasoning. To cook the chicken, place a large pan over a medium-high heat. Give it a light spray of oil, about equivalent to 1 teaspoon. When it's nice and hot, add in the chicken, and I recommend doing this in batches. Don't overcrowd the pan, otherwise you'll end up stewing the chicken, and if we add a smaller amount, we'll get a really nice sear on there. As for cooking times, sear for about 6 to 6.5 minutes in total, or about 3 to 3.5 minutes on each side, and we're looking for that nice golden sear all over the chicken. This can then be removed from the pan and set aside, and this right here is the spicy chicken macro card, including the individual serving size. With the chicken out of the way, place the same pan back over a medium-high heat, add in 1 tablespoon of unsalted butter and 300 grams of washed basmati rice. Give it a good mix around and toast this for about 1 minute to 1.5 minutes. This is just going to bring out a really nice nutty flavour. Add in 1 teaspoon of ground turmeric, 1 teaspoon of smoked paprika, and 1 teaspoon of ground cumin. Also adding in 550 milliliters or 18.5 fluid ounces of chicken or vegetable stock. Stir it all through, ensuring all of those spices are well mixed through the stock and the rice. And what we're going to do is bring this up to a simmer. When it is at a simmer, we can season it to taste with salt. You can also add a little bit of pepper here as well. I recommend using ground white if you wanted to do so. Like I said, bring it out to a simmer, then reduce the heat to low, place on a lid, and we're going to cook this for 12 minutes undisturbed. In the meantime, we can make a quick tzatziki. What I have here is 150 grams of natural Greek yogurt. Just make sure you scrape that all in there. Add in 1/4 of a small cucumber that's been grated and squeezed. All I've done with this is just run it along the larger side of a box grater to create those nice thin pieces. Once you have that done, just make sure you scrape it all out of the box grater, put it into a chucks cloth or any sort of rag, then squeeze it really tightly to extract the moisture. This is just going to prevent our sauce from becoming really runny, and especially if we're going to be storing it, we do not want that to happen. Add in 2 small cloves of garlic. All I've done with these is run them along a microplane to create a paste. Using a paste, you're going to get a really nice strong flavor without any lumpy chunks through our sauce. Add in 2 grams each of flat leaf parsley and dill. All I've done with these is scrunch them up together, making it easier to chop, and then went through and chopped this up into small pieces, making sure that there's no large leaves or stems. You should have something that looks like this. Squeeze in the juice from 1/4 of a lemon. Just make sure no seeds decide to jump in. Season to taste with salt, as well as cracked black pepper, 10 cracks worth. Mix everything together well, making sure none of that cucumber's clumped up. Check it for seasoning as well as acidity levels. If you need to adjust, you can go for it now. And that leaves us with our really quick and simple tzatziki. This can be stored in the fridge until we're ready to serve. This right here is the tzatziki macro card along with the serving size, and the full written recipe is in the description. Now going back to the rice, turn it off the heat and leave the lid on for a final 4 minutes. Then remove that lid and we can use a fork or a spatula to fluff up the rice. This is super soft and fluffy and it smells incredible as well. What you'll have is something that looks like this, and this right here is the macro card for that turmeric rice along with the serving size. And again, the full written recipe is in the description. When it comes to serving up, you can use the weights that I've supplied per portion, or you can divide everything by 5. But I do recommend always weighing the ingredients yourself, because brands and ingredients all around the world may be a different weight once they've finished cooking. The way that I've portioned it is rice on one side, chicken on the other, and then that tzatziki over the top. And I'm also garnishing it with a little bit of extra flat leaf parsley, but that's completely optional. And what we're left with is these beautiful spicy chicken rices. It looks and smells incredible. The final macro card is the complete dish, or everything together, including the total serving weight. I'm using 750ml containers, and I have a link for them in the description. When it comes to storing, let them cool down for about 15 to 20 minutes. Place on the lids. They'll go in the fridge for up to 3 to 4 days, or in the freezer for up to 4 months. If they are frozen, place them in the fridge overnight to allow them to thaw. And the best way to heat these up is in the microwave. You can do it in a pan. Obviously, it's going to mix everything together. And if you do that, you will need to add a little bit of chicken stock to rehydrate. Regarding the tzatziki, you can leave it in the containers the way I've done it and heat it up. It's safe to do so. Or if you prefer it fresh and cold, just serve it separately in a different container. As always, we can then dig in. The rice is definitely the standout of this dish. It's soft, it's fluffy, it's packed with flavor. The chicken's juicy, has a little hint of spice on there as well, but if you don't like that, you don't have to use it. And then the tzatziki just adds freshness. Mix it all together or leave it separated the way I've served it. That choice is all yours. If you enjoyed this video, hit that thumbs up button, leave a comment for the algorithm, and don't forget to subscribe along with hitting the bell notification next to it as well so you don't miss when I upload. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.